There are really just two types of men out there. The first kind? He tries to earn love. He's the one who always texts first. He dishes out compliments. He organizes the dates. He does his best to make her happy. He follows every how to rule like it's gospel. Yet somehow, she still starts to drift away. Not because he wasn't good to her, but because kindness alone, without strength behind it, doesn't spark obsession. It breeds comfort. And comfort, by its nature, fades. Now, the second kind of man? He plays by a different set of rules. He's not out here begging for her attention. He's not explaining himself to prove his worth. Instead, he becomes the force she can't ignore, the gravity that everything else starts to revolve around. He doesn't try to win her with effort or theatrics. His presence alone is enough to pull her in. Calm, steady, grounded. He says nothing, yet somehow stays in her head long after he's gone. So what actually separates these two kinds of men? It's not about having more money. It's not about being more handsome. And it sure isn't about luck. It comes down to traits. Subtle, powerful traits, psychological signals most men completely miss. But the ones who truly get it? They embody them naturally. This video isn't just about how to attract women. It's about understanding why some men leave a permanent mark without even trying. You're about to uncover 5 powerful traits that make a woman emotionally hooked on your energy. And more importantly, you'll learn how to embody these traits with calm confidence and sharp intention. Stick with me to the end, because this isn't just going to shift the way you talk to women. It's going to transform the way women feel in your presence. Because once you really understand how true masculine energy moves, you stop chasing, you stop explaining, and you stop asking to be picked. You become the one she can't unsee, the one her thoughts return to, the one her body doesn't forget. Let's dive in. Trait 1. Emotional control that commands respect. A lot of men assume that showing emotion equals being authentic. They believe that opening up, spilling how they feel, or reacting intensely will earn them points for vulnerability. But here's the truth. That's not what creates obsession. Obsession is born from emotional composure. A woman doesn't lose sleep over the guy who spirals. She becomes addicted to the one who feels, but never crumbles. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." In other words, the man who can rise above emotion and act with clear intent, while everyone else is caught in the chaos, is the man who ends up leading and lasting. The fool breaks down, then looks back. The wise one stays steady, sees the storm for what it is, and acts before others even understand what's happening. So how does this show up in real life? Let's say she's giving you attitude. She goes quiet, delays her replies, questions your tone. She's pushing buttons, testing your edges, seeing if you'll crack. Most guys? They freak out. They send paragraph-long texts, sometimes even with awkward emojis. They ramble. They try to fix something that hasn't even gone wrong yet. But the high-value man? He doesn't throw fuel on the fire. He keeps it contained. He holds his ground without getting burned. Here's a move you can make immediately. Next time she pulls back, don't lean in. Don't ask what's wrong. Don't shrink yourself to match her mood. Instead, shift your focus back to your mission. Go train. Build. Sharpen your craft. Let her witness a man whose emotions aren't up for negotiation. Because the man who doesn't chase emotional calm becomes the very piece she's drawn to. And we're only getting started. Because the next trait doesn't just earn respect, it creates obsession. And it does it by tapping into something far more potent. Mystery. Trait 2. Mystery that fuels her imagination. What you keep to yourself is often more powerful than anything you say out loud. Men who are too predictable feel safe, but also forgettable. It's the mysterious man, the one who doesn't reveal every card, who lingers in her mind like a question she needs to answer. These kinds of men stay in her thoughts long after they've walked out the door. And no, it's not because they're cold or distant. It's because they're unreadable. In a world full of guys who overshare everything, mystery stands out. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know who you really are." He wasn't saying you should be fake. He was pointing to this. Show just enough to spark curiosity, but never so much that you become predictable or easy to figure out. Because the moment a woman feels like she has you all figured out, she mentally files you away. But if something about you stirs emotion and she can't quite put her finger on why, that's where the obsession begins. Imagine this. She sends you a simple text. "What are you doing tonight?" Most guys, they respond like it's a bullet point itinerary. Not much. Just gonna hit the gym, grab food, maybe watch Netflix. They think they're being honest. But what she reads is this: routine, Predictable. Nothing exciting to chase. Now, here's how a magnetic man responds. He texts back. Got a few things lined up. You. It's vague, but real. Confident, but casual. And in that moment, something clicks. Her mind starts spinning. She fills in the blanks with her imagination. Not because she's confused, but because mystery activates her curiosity. Here's a subtle, yet powerful mindset shift you can start applying right now. Say less than you actually know. Share less than you're really feeling. Let your behavior hint at more than your words ever explain. And no, this isn't about playing games. It's about living a life with so much purpose and direction that she becomes intrigued just trying to understand how you operate. Because when a man remains composed, focused, and just a little hard to read, she stops chasing answers and starts chasing you. Now let's take it a step further. Because even mystery needs a foundation, and that brings us to the next key trait. Trait 3, an unshakable emotional frame, especially in social settings. There's a kind of hidden power that most men overlook until they realize, too late, how much it matters. It's not just about how you treat her behind closed doors. It's about how you carry yourself around everyone else. See, women don't just fall for how you act when it's just the two of you. They get drawn in by how you move through the world, especially when others are watching. It's not about being the loudest guy in the room. It's about being the most grounded. Machiavelli understood this well. He wrote that there's nothing more important than appearing to have great qualities, even if you don't fully possess them yet. Why? Because in love, as in politics, perception equals power. So how does this translate to real life? Let's say you're out with her, at a dinner, a party, or maybe just hanging out in public. Another guy throws a subtle jab your way, a passive-aggressive remark. The air shifts. The room gets a little tense. She glances at you, quietly watching, wondering, is he going to lose it? Or will he stay in control? The average guy? He takes the bait, gets defensive, tries to prove himself, says too much. Maybe he laughs nervously. Maybe he tries too hard to be liked. On the outside, she might smile to keep things light, but inside, the attraction dims. Now imagine a different response. You stay calm. You don't get rattled. You don't try to dominate the room. You just let the moment sit for a second. You breathe. And when you finally say something, it's concise, confident, effortless. No bravado, no anxiety, just presence. Here's a simple, high-impact action step. Whenever you're in a room, especially one where tension creeps in, resist the urge to jump in and defend yourself. Don't react to every little jab or offhand remark. Let silence do the heavy lifting. Be the stillness in the chaos, the comma at the center of the storm, not the noise reacting to it. Because the man who owns the space without trying, he doesn't just stand out. He becomes unforgettable, not just in her eyes, but in the eyes of everyone around. Let's go even deeper. Because the next trait doesn't just shape how she sees you, it shapes how deeply she feels you, even when you're nowhere near. Trait 4, controlled polarity, the masculine tension that ignites female obsession. See, a lot of guys think that being soft, sweet, or endlessly agreeable will keep a woman close. But in trying to be safe, they lose both their edge and her desire. Because women don't fixate on comfort. They get obsessed with contrast. The push and pull. The tension between your fire and your stillness. Your boldness and your restraint. Your strength and your silence. Most men miss this completely. They think that being emotional means breaking down with her, offering long-winded explanations, or constantly apologizing for shifts in mood or energy. But here's the truth. If you step into her emotional storm, you'll get swept up in it. And once that happens, she stops seeing you as her anchor. Machiavelli gave us the playbook centuries ago. It is necessary to be a fox to spot traps and a lion to scare away wolves. What does that mean in love and relationships? You need the intelligence to spot emotional traps and the power to stay grounded when they appear. Let's make this real. She's upset. Something's triggered her. She lashes out, maybe says you're too distant, that you never really open up. Tears start. Her voice rises. Maybe she shouts, you don't even care. Now, this is where most men fold. They apologize instantly. They scramble to fix the mood. They say whatever it takes to settle things, not because they're weak, but because they don't understand the deeper polarity at play. Here's the issue. When you shrink in response to her emotional surge, she doesn't feel held. She feels alone. Not because you're emotionally unavailable, but because you've vanished energetically. She doesn't actually want you to step into her chaos. She wants to feel the strength of your calm through it. So here's what to do starting right now. When she's riding that emotional wave, stay rooted. Don't flinch. Let her talk. Let her cry. Let her emotions pass through like a storm through open air. But don't match her state. Don't chase approval. Don't explain yourself. Don't try to prove you're a good man with desperate peace offerings. Say less. Breathe deeper. And when you speak, make it low, steady, and certain. Let her come to the realization in her own time that she's safe. Not because you gave in, but because you didn't. Because when she feels your unshaken masculine stillness in the heart of her storm, something shifts. She doesn't melt because you made some brilliant argument. She melts because her instincts finally exhale. And that instinct? That's where obsession is born. Now we arrive at the final trait, the one that holds all the others together. Not just for a fleeting moment, but for the long haul. Trait 5, non-attachment to outcome, the quiet strength that makes her chase. Here's the paradox. The more effort you put into locking down her feelings, the more likely she is to question them. Women don't get fixated on the guy who clings. They fall for the man who could walk away without hesitation and mean it. Because obsession isn't built on pressure or control. It's born in the presence of freedom. That feeling that says, I don't need you, but I still choose you. Machiavelli once said, he who builds on the people builds on mud. In the world of modern relationships, that translates to this. If your self-worth depends on her validation, your strength will crumble the moment she pulls away. Let's ground this in reality. You meet a woman, and everything's clicking. There's chemistry. Energy flows naturally. You're both into it. Then out of nowhere, she changes. Her texts slow down. Her vibe feels off. She starts saying things like, I'm just not sure anymore. And now panic creeps in. You try harder. You explain your feelings. You send long texts, hoping if she just gets it, she'll stay. But here's the part most guys never see. The moment she senses you're afraid to lose her, her desire starts to fade. Now imagine a different response. She says, I don't know what I want. And instead of spiraling, you stay calm, steady, unshaken. You respond, take the time you need. I know what I want. And I'll be fine either way. You didn't chase. You didn't fold. You didn't try to pull her back into your orbit. And that shift? It hits her deeper than any flattery or performance ever could. Because in that moment, she sees something clearly. You're not trying to win her over. You've already won yourself. Here's a direct action you can apply starting today. Train yourself to let go of the result. If she texts back, great. If she doesn't, your world keeps moving at full momentum. No panic. No self-doubt. No emotional collapse. Let this be your new standard. I want you, but I will never beg to be kept. Because the man who stays composed when things feel uncertain becomes the one she starts to crave with uncertainty. Let's bring this full circle, because now you see the entire picture. And once all the pieces connect, you'll understand something crucial. These 5 traits aren't just about attraction. They're about inner mastery, unshakable confidence, quiet, lasting power. You've just stepped into a truth that most men never touch. Obsession doesn't come from chasing her. It's not about proving your worth. It doesn't bloom from constant effort, grand gestures, or praise. It's rooted in something far deeper, something she feels long before she can explain it. It's your energy. It's the way you walk into a room without needing approval. The way you use silence like a weapon, calm, deliberate. The way your presence says more than your words ever could. That quiet intensity, that grounded gravity, that unshakable vibe. Machiavelli didn't write seduction guides, but he understood power. And obsession? That's emotional power at its peak. He taught us that control isn't taken through force. It's gained through perception, through presence, through posture. Men judge more by what they see than what they touch, he wrote. Because everyone sees, but only a few truly understand. That's what ignites obsession. Not what you do, but how your energy makes her question what you do. Not the words you speak, but the pause after them. Not the effort you put in, but the mystery she can't unravel. So remember this. Hold your emotional center. No mood, no silence, no attitude should shake your core. Build mystery. Speak with precision. Share only what deepens curiosity. Stay on your path. Your mission isn't optional, it's sacred. Don't detour for validation. Keep your polarity sharp. Be the stillness in her storm. Be the edge in her warmth. Detach from the outcome, but never let go of your standards. Desire her, yes, but never need her. And never, ever accept less than what your presence is worth. Because once these traits aren't something you perform, but something you live, she won't just see you. She'll feel you. In her thoughts. In her skin. In the quiet moments when you're nowhere in sight. That's how obsession begins. Not through seduction, but through presence. Not by being loud, but by becoming impossible to forget. You're not here to be liked. Not here to be constantly validated. You're here to be chosen by life, by purpose, by the kind of woman who recognizes strength the moment she feels it. So stay focused. Stay grounded. Stay sovereign. Because the man who becomes the storm never fears the wind. Now, one final note for those ready to leave the 99% behind and play a completely different game. What I'm building next will transform the way women see you, and more importantly, the way you see yourself. It's coming soon. So stay alert. Stay ready. And if this message hit home, don't just let it sit in your mind. Drop a comment. Even a few words. It'll help lock it in. And who knows, it might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Hit the like button if this spoke to you. Share it with someone who needs it now, not later. Trust your instincts. We're all trying to become clearer, stronger, more unshakable from the inside out. Let's build minds that don't break.